Hey, mamitas and papitos, Lucha Libre Lady here, and this is going to be the top 10 weight loss stumbling blocks according to Lucha Libre Lady. Now, I'm not a weight loss guru, I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist. I am working from my own personal experience as someone who has struggled with weight throughout my life. A couple of things pretty quick, going over these topics individually on separate videos. I think I'll expand on these concepts in other videos because I think there's a lot to talk about point by point. But for today, we're just going from 10 to 1. So starting at number 10, recognize your food vulnerability. Now this is really tricky. I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention food vulnerability before. But what I mean by this is try to figure out what specifically to you is making you be overweight. Now when you're big, my video just liked. When you're overweight or obese or big or fat or whatever you want to call it, there's a reason for it. And it can be hard to identify what it is that we're doing that makes us overweight. You know, people assume when you're overweight that you just sit around on your bum eating food all day. And I know most of us are not doing that. It's also weird. When you're overweight, people pay a lot of attention to what you're doing with food. I've been surprised the number of people who have spent a lot of time with me and have said to me, "Oh, you don't eat much." And I'm like, yeah, I know I don't eat much. I usually have like 2 meals a day. I don't like snacking. If I snack throughout the day, I feel like out of control with my eating. I feel like all I'm doing is like eating all day, so I don't snack. I'm not a breakfast person. I usually will have a cup of coffee. Recognizing your food vulnerability, it took me a while to figure it out. And for me, what I realized was that 2 or 3 times a week I would have a treat. Now, I've shared on my first video about having Uber issues, and what I figured out is, yeah, I'm not sitting down eating all day, but 2 or 3 times a week I would eat something really unhealthy. Yeah, I'm a person of extremes. I have managed to follow these tips, which I'll get into the damage control tips in a little bit, but recognizing your food vulnerability. So that's my food vulnerability, is that 2 or 3 times a week I would have a treat, and usually those treats are calorie dense, not healthy, and that's how I would put weight on. I don't eat much during the day. So if you look at what I eat in a day, you'd be like, why is she so big? But it's those little, usually sneaky, so I don't do it in front of people, I guess. So I guess it's a bit hidden. But it's these treats that I would do 2 or 3 times a week, and just did in February, where I'm consuming a lot of calories. And, you know, imagine 2 or 3 times a week over years and years and years, and all of a sudden you're 169 kilos in November 2024, starting a weight loss journey. Now, that might not be your food vulnerability. You know, maybe you are someone who's eating food or snacking on the wrong things throughout the day. So last November is when I started my weight loss journey. A few months before I started doing Weight Watchers, I did calorie counting, not so much to lose weight, but more to have a better understanding of how much I was consuming, how many calories I was consuming. I'm going off track. So, point number 10, recognize your food vulnerability. You know, are your portions too big? Are you eating too much food in a day? Are you snacking on the wrong things? It's really hard to acknowledge in yourself what you're doing to be overweight. You know, a lot of us are in denial. I know I've been in denial. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks to finally figure out, okay, yeah, I don't eat all the time. Yeah, I'm not snacking. Yeah, I have an Uber way too often. But to actually recognize that having a treat 2 or 3 times a week and times that by years, that's probably why I'm overweight. Took me a while. And it's hard to be that honest with yourself, but you need to identify what your food vulnerability is, because you need to change that. It's kind of like the core issue. And there's lots of other things related to my food issues, but those treats 2 or 3 times a week, times years and years and years of having that habit, I needed to address that so that I could stick to my Weight Watchers program. And the reason my weight loss slows down is still because of those treats. I'm not ordering the most unhealthiest stuff now. When I do order Uber, I do try to get healthier stuff. But I still got an Uber issue, and I'm still spending way too much money on Uber. I've just sort of improved the type of food I'm eating, but I still like to treat myself. So obviously I've still got some work to do in the old psychology field. Number 9, find a weight loss method that works for you. I've tried so many different weight loss programs, diets, medications. Even today my GP offered me Duramine, which I declined for now. That's a whole other story. But finding a method that works for you, because not everything works for everybody. I've spent so much money on different weight loss methods. I tried Weight Watchers because my sister-in-law has always sworn by Weight Watchers, and she's great at losing weight. And I figured, well, it's worked for her all these years, I might as well give it a go. And I found it's really workable for me. I think in general you want to have a eating plan where you're not starving all the time. If you're starving all the time, you're not going to succeed at losing and keeping to your weight loss journey. If you feel hungry all the time, you're going to end up thinking about food all the time, and you're going to be craving stuff, and you're going to give in to your cravings and crash. Like, you're going to end up eating a whole heap of food that you didn't want to eat or shouldn't eat or whatever. I don't know what the political correct way of stuffing up your diet or eating plan is. But if you feel hungry, you're going to eat, and you're going to eat whatever comes in handy and quickly. And if you're craving, because your eating plan is so strict, and you start craving all these naughty foods, you're going to go mental, and then you're going to, stuff up your diet or your eating plan, and then you're going to be really hard on yourself because you failed again, and oh my gosh, this is so hard. And then you're going to feel defeated, and then you're not going to want to try a diet for, I don't know, another 6 years. And yeah, you don't want to do all that. Like, you don't want to do this punishing yourself because you messed up your diet, and then once again you failed. And that whole headspace, if you've struggled with your weight your whole life, then you know what it feels like when you fail on a diet, when you eat the wrong stuff, and then you give up, and then you so hard, and you hate yourself because you stuffed up your diet, and it's so defeating. But it all comes back to, if you're doing a diet or an eating plan where you're starving, the diet has already destroyed you. So find an eating plan where you're not starving all the time, where you like the food. I don't know how many times I've been on diets where I didn't like the food. And even so don't go on an eating plan where you don't like the food. You need to like the food in your eating plan. You can't push yourself to eat food you don't like to lose weight, because you've already lost. Find an eating plan that works for you, where you're not hungry and you like the food. Next point. Make it as easy as you can for yourself. Yes, weight loss is hard, so before you even start, find ways to make it as easy as you can for yourself. If you need to prep your meals, like if you are working a lot of hours and you don't have time to cook, or you're too tired when you get home, prep your meals ahead of time. When you have time, get all your meals ready, put them in containers, put them in the freezer or in the fridge. Whatever you can do to make it easier for you to stick to your eating plan, figure out how to do it. Get as much support as you can. If you can have a friend join in with you, I don't know, just organize yourself, plan ahead, get support, try to find how to make it as easy as you can for yourself. When I did lose the 40 kilos back with the personal trainer, I was actually super busy, and in a way that made it easier for me because I was already so busy. I think I was super organized. Like, I was going to the gym like at 6 in the morning, having a shower at the gym. I don't know how. I think my mum was helping me with my son, like getting him to childcare. I'd leave the gym, go to my first job, do my 3-hour shift, get to university. I was all over the place. I was so busy that year, but because I was already so busy, it was easy to sort of slide in losing weight. The veggie soup I could cook ahead of time, and I'd put it in containers. I ate a lot of rice cakes and tuna. I found that rice cakes and tuna were like strangely filling. And I was on the go all the time, so I didn't even have time to think about things. So I was so busy, it was actually easier to stick to the eating plan because I was so busy. Now it's the opposite. Now, because of my chronic illness, because I'm disabled, I've actually spent a lot of time at home, and I have a lot of time on my hands. I don't have a lot of energy, and because I've got chronic pain, I'm not able to do a lot of things, and cooking is difficult for me. So as I mentioned in my first video, I do have someone who helps me with meal preps. So she was happy to help me with my weight loss journey. So she agreed to cook Weight Watchers meals for me. So that makes it heaps easier. The food's already prepared for me. She brings them over. We put them in the fridge and the freezer. That's a huge burden taken care of. I'm able to just eat what she's prepared for me. I know not everyone has that blessing. I know if you're a mum, you still got to cook for the rest of your family. Meal prepping might not be an option for you. Having separate meals from your family might not be an option for you. If you're working and you're single, I don't know. But whatever you need to do to make it easy for you, I don't know everyone's personal circumstances, but the easier you can make your eating plan for yourself, the more likely you're going to stick to it. If it's too hard, you're going to be defeated. Like, if it's too hard. The other thing is, make sure it's the right time. Yes, you have to lose weight, you want to lose weight, your health, whatever. But the amount of focus, time, energy, organization, make sure it's the right time for you to actually do this. Because if it's not the right time, you're not going to succeed. And it's okay, to wait until you're ready. I haven't done a serious attempt at weight loss for years. I did do a couple of years ago. I stayed at my friend's place in Queensland for a month, and I did sort of planned my healthy meals, and I did lose weight. I think I lost about 6 or 8 kilos while I stayed with her, and it's because I was in charge of my own food, and I sort of ate really healthy. She lives out in the country. There's no Uber. It's really funny. There's no Uber where she lives, and it's a half-hour walk to the closest shop. So I didn't spend any money. I didn't get any Uber, and I lost weight. So she should set up an Airbnb for people who want to lose weight. I'm going to tell her that next time I speak to her. But yeah, make sure it's the right time in your life. If you are way too tired, way too busy, way too whatever, if it's not the right time, that's okay. The right time will come. But keep it in your head. Think about, what do you need to be ready. When I decided to lose weight, it kind of all clicked. I thought, hang on, I've got someone who's already doing meal preps for me. That's huge. My sister-in-law has always had really good results with Weight Watchers, so there's my weight loss method. Hadn't tried it before, didn't know if it was going to work for me, but I thought I'll give it a shot. I'm not doing a lot because of my chronic illness. I'm on a disability pension and my mental health stuff. So I'm not super busy. I've got a lot of time on my hand. I don't have a lot of energy, but I've got time, so I can organize myself. I can, whatever I need to do to lose weight. It's not a super busy time in my life. I've got the focus and the energy and whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm tired. Weight Watchers is working for me. You need to find what works for you.